As you can see, the four zones are completely sectioned and clipped out the way in the front of the head. Now Stephen can focus his attention on working through the back zone of the head to start with. Now on the back, Stephen is going to be working vertical sections, and as he reaches the side, he's going to use over direction to go back to the previous section. This will generally create a nice square shape on the horizontal axis. Now that the profile guide has been cut, Stephen's working on section number 2, where again he's going to work on the outside of his fingers because he's working with a longer length of hair, meaning he has ultimate control over the cutting line and shape when he's working with long hair. We can see that he's slightly over directing back to section number 1, meaning the number sections would be 2 into 1 currently at the moment, working through the square shape at the bottom and then a slightly more rounded shape through the crown area. When you're working on curly hair, you do want to make sure that the incisions you're making with the scissor are quite small relative to if you were working on straighter hair. You could work slightly longer incisions with the scissor because you know that the hair is going to be placed in a certain way. But with curly hair, because it could be placed in lots of different ways or it could be curling around your finger, you do have to be cautious about cutting the shape in and take each section slightly smaller than what you would wish when cutting up through your fingers. Once the back has been completed, Stephen's now going to move on to the side panel. Now the way that he's going to do that is by making a subsection into the back, taking a vertical section from the back where he hasn't cut yet, and then one from the side. He's going to be using vertical sections all the way through the side panel into the front and changing the elevation as he goes along. He's going to be working by pinching the hair quite close to the roots, placing the finger in vertically, and then as he reaches his cutting line, he will go into more of a horizontal shape. This actually allows him to have more length and weight on the bottom, which is a really cool technique to use if he wants to maintain length, but also have a technical connection between the zones. Every section that he cuts on the side profile will be over directed back to this first section that he's cutting now. To put more context on the technique, Stephen's working with a fluid dynamic movement from vertical with his fingers into horizontal, where he's making a connection at the top and leaving more extended length towards the bottom to retain the weight and external shape. Everything is at the shortest point on this first section and again becoming a triangular shape towards the front where he's maintaining length and weight as it becomes finer and less dense. Because there is a lot of hair to work through and you want to have control over your shape, it's important to split up the top zone into two sides. So Stephen's just worked through the first side. He's now working through the second side on the other side of the top panel in exactly the same way. Standing stationary in the same position, using the same elevation and tension, and working through the opposite side of the head all the way in towards the front hairline. The key thing is on side 2 is that you already have a guide from side number 1 to come back to, so there should be no problem in whizzing through this second side quite quickly. As you can see, we used quite a lot of tension, but we're mindful because of the length that we're choosing. So don't go too short with your cutting line, because if you use a lot of tension, the hair will jump back quite quickly towards the root area and everything will be way shorter than you expected. So you can see that with that first section that Stephen created, there was no tension at all used and he cut it completely in natural fall on the area that he wanted the hair to sit in. Now that guide is really important to work with as every single section is going to be over directed into that first section, but the only thing that's changing is the elevation. So every single diagonal section that Stephen works through that fringe panel in now is going to have further to travel to the cutting line and is going to be more elevated each and every section, meaning every section that he's working through will become longer and longer through the fringe panel and will become softer and softer because of the elevation. To finish off the personalization of the haircut, Stephen's now going to finish off with just visually freehanding away any loose hairs or split ends or anything that just looks like it's out of place. Again, you want to let the hair breathe slightly, so just pull it out and see if any of the curls or lengths pop out in a way that you don't want it to be seen. Stephen's now going in with a medium hold hairspray just to fix the shape in and add a little bit of shine just to boost the look. You can wear this hair in many different ways. This is just one of the ways that Stephen's finished the haircut, which is more on the salon friendly vibe. but we can see those shorter layers popping through the front and those longer layers working down in towards the perimeter for that triangular shape that you see from the front and the side profile. Thank you for watching this haircut tutorial, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this long layered, salon friendly curly hairstyle from Stephen Bazazzi. We'll see you on the next one.